creatures of the night? It's your girl Tati. And damn, Bae looks so good behind me. He's so cute. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite. We actually started off with our scumbag MJF versus Kyle Fletcher. This was an eliminator match for the AEW American Championship. Now, if Kyle Fletcher ends up winning this match, then he actually goes against MJF again for the title this time. Now, I would say this. I was really glad we opened the show with this, and I figured that for the main event we was going to get Danielson and Double J for sure, but this was a very great opener. Kyle Fletcher has been absolutely killing it. I absolutely enjoy Kyle Fletcher as a singles competitor. I do slightly, maybe I'm in a minority, enjoy him a little bit more tagging with Mark Davis. Something about that team is they're very, very special. And, unfortunately, Mark Davis has just been on a show back to back for quite some time. And Kyle Fletcher, man, he has been putting in the work, and I absolutely enjoy everything that we've gotten with him. We do have Uncle Don, who is doing commentary in this match. And for what it seems like at first, it seems like Kyle was, taking a little bit of control in this match until it wasn't the case. We ended up having, I think I want to say like a 20-minute match between the two of them. And when it just seems like MJF is just going to have the upper hand here, we have Uncle Don who walks down over there with them glittery spiked shoes with no socks. And he goes on and he hands Kyle Fletcher a screwdriver while he is distracting the referee. And I'm just like, bitch, you better take it. Sometimes in life, you get a win the honest way. And then other times in life, you got to cheat to win, do whatever you got to do to get that W. Now, Kyle Fletcher, he has it. The crowd is like, no, Kyle, don't do the wrong thing. You're an honorable man. You're right. He's thinking about it or whatnot, but then he ends up throwing the screwdriver. And MJF, who already ready for him, has a dynamite ring. He ends up punching him. I do believe he gives him a low blow as well. That's all the leverage that MJF needed at that point. Referee counts 1, 2, 3. And this is after MJF actually ends up kicking the screwdriver out the ring because he's like, look, I don't want the ref to think I had this shit, so let me get rid of it. Takes the win. After he wins, though, he continues to put a beat down on Kyle Fletcher. Now, during this match, they did show Will Ospreay back there watching the show. But once it was over and he started attacking Kyle Fletcher, Ospreay is trying to leave that little room that he was in watching the show. And then he realized that he can't get past that door. Like, there is something blocking the door. They put like a whole bunch of boxes and shit that they put the production shit in, and that was blocking him from leaving the room. And he's going to running throughout the arena so he can make it out to the ring to save his bestie, Kyle Fletcher. Now, the same way that MJF had Daniel Garcia about a month ago bloodied in the ring, that's exactly how he ended up leaving Kyle Fletcher. And Will Ospreay come out there with his crisp white tee and get it all bloodied up with his bestie's blood. And you can see in his face that he's like, holy shit, another person who, I consider as a friend getting their ass whooped for, trying to defend me. And you can really see that in his face that he really feels bad about this. And I think that match with Kyle and MJF made things a lot more personal between MJF and Ospreay. MJF obviously runs through the crowd like a little chicken, but we love it. He's our scumbag. And Kyle Fletcher, better luck next time. All right, so we got a video package hyping up Double J versus Danielson for the main event. It was alright. What I did not like, though, was Mariah May versus Viva Van. And I've said this before, that I understand that sometimes these talent that comes onto AEW, they're not AEW people per se. But I really do feel like with the storyline with Mariah, if you want to make her look strong, how do you have someone who's as talented as Viva Van getting in that ring with her and pretty much having her get beat up the whole time? If you know better, you know better, and you would know that, even for Mariah, who's really talented, this wouldn't have been the case. Viva Van would have given a really, really great matchup with Mariah, and Mariah could have still taken the W. And I was just so surprised to see such a great wrestler like Viva Van just pretty much, I don't want to say jobbing, but she just was getting beat up for the most part, and I didn't really appreciate that. And I'm going to mention why, again, when we talk about another women's match that came on tonight, Mariah ends up taking the win. After she hits her own finisher, Mayday, she decides that she's going to go for a Storm Zero and take the win with that. And I was just like, oh, I really wish she would just keep away from doing anything related to Toni Storm. Now, after the match, someone ended up giving Mariah a big gift, and it turned out to be like a huge like poster, and it's Mariah May being all holed up on by Toni Storm, but and behind it says "Die Mariah, die." And I didn't even see when Toni Storm crept up in the ring, but she was behind Mariah May, and they started getting to a scuffle. The use of security guards and referees come out there several times trying to keep these girls away from each other. But they get a chance to get their hands on each other. And while I did enjoy this, I just really wish that, matches like this, Mariah needs to look strong for the pay-per-view. She shouldn't be in what seems to be like squash situations. I didn't appreciate it at all. After this, we did have Jackson Perry doing his little video package that they had, and it looked like it was getting interesting, but for real, for those of you who are watching TBS channel, I can't say about any other feeds or whatever, but in the middle of the whole thing, a Taco Bell commercial came on, and then all of a sudden the promo was continued. I don't know what the fuck. We missed part of the promo. That much I can say. I'm pretty sure they ended up posting it. But part of it was cut off by a Taco Bell commercial. And I'm just like, I don't know who back there putting the shows together, but we got to do better than this. Jackson Perry, we have barely seen much of him, especially after winning the TNT title. And I don't think this was a great thing that his little promo video package got fucked up by Taco Bell commercial. And to be honest, that just made me a little more hungry. All right, so after this, we do have Shibata. Oh, he's so lovely. When I think about pro wrestling, and I'm thinking about a man getting in that ring and getting shit done and going home, I'm thinking about Shibata. This guy is just so freaking amazing. He went against the bad apple, Brian Keith, and all I kept thinking to myself was, this better not be a squash. I really do enjoy Brian Keith. Haven't really seen the payoff of him being with Chris Jericho or for Big Bill as well, so I figured I don't want to see a squash. He did a squash on Rampage the other day, which was just so unnecessary. So I was glad to see a really nice matchup between Brian and Shibata. Now, we did have Shibata very early focusing on the arms of Brian Keith, and then Brian Keith reciprocating and focusing on Shibata's shoulder for most of the match. And it did look back and forth between the two of them. So I did appreciate that. It didn't just seem like a clear winner, even though the results was definitely predictable. It still was a really great matchup from the two of them. Shibata ends up taking the win with an armbar, which didn't surprise me, though. And right after that, Learning Tree and Big Bill, they came up out there to beat up on Shibata. And I'm just like, oh, Samoa Joe filming movies. Hook probably still at that same hospital from when he got a little fireball in his face. And just when I'm thinking that, then boom, here is Hook with no shirt on, and he looks like he's been at the gym. I'm not necessarily impressed or whatever, but he looked like he's been over there. He had his hat on, his little beanie hat on, and he cleared the house somehow, some way. And where's the storyline going between them? I have no fucking idea. But what was funny, though, was Chris Jericho on commentary. Not him being funny, but him going to be on commentary, and security had removed Taz from the commentator's booth. How fucking funny is that? I can care less about those two guys. So now we do have Orange Cassidy back there with Renee Paquette. Apparently, even Tony Khan had tweeted this too, but some wrestlers were not able to get to North Carolina for like flight reasons and delays and all this foolishness. Even MJF driving 10 plus hours to get to North Carolina, whatever. And some people just couldn't get there. So Orange Cassidy was supposed to be teaming up with Mark Briscoe and I want to say Ishii, I can't remember, but one of those dudes from the conglomeration, probably Kyle O'Reilly, they couldn't make it. So then they have to find someone two other people to take his place since they are going against Beast Mortos, Rouge, and Roderick Strong. After this, we do have a sit-down interview with JR and Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland looking so yummy, and he just looked like a champion. I do want to point this out though. JR looked like he lost a lot of weight, and I know he hasn't been in the best of health, and some people actually found how JR looked to be distracting and probably, how could I say this? Probably was people were more focused on that in comparison to what Swerve had to say. And I do think it's unfortunate. He's getting older. He's had health issues. He's been battling cancer off and on for quite some time these past few years. He's lost his wife. So maybe he's not at the best of health. I get that. But I just hope that whatever work he's doing with AEW, it's worth that he feels like he's up to doing. And, probably if he's going to be doing anything that he's feeling healthy enough to do those things. I would hate to feel like he's being pushed to do things when he's not at the best of health. So I can understand some people feeling distracted by JR and how he looked. But Swerve, I do feel like was really strong in this sit-down interview. And his confidence, I think, is what's really making him look like a better champion. And his promos definitely have absolutely improved. And whether he's a babyface or a heel or what I would consider to be a tweener, I think he's been doing an amazing job. Now, after this, we do have Orange Cassidy who comes out. And he doesn't have anyone to come out with him, at least so we think. But then again, this idiot is wearing an FTR shirt and that gives it away. And of course, FTR conveniently always showing up. And they're partners with Orange Cassidy. They're going against Beast Mortos, Roderick Strong, and Rouge. And I have to say, Roderick Strong, I love him, absolutely love him. The Kingdom did come out with them too. But Rouge and Beast Mortos, they look like a really great team, to be honest. My thing here, though, imagine Beast Mortos, Toro Blanco. Oh my God, that would be absolutely amazing. I don't know what the chemistry would be like, but Tony Khan, can we give that a try? See what they're like as a team? My only complaint with this match, aside from Orange Cassidy taking the win, I felt like everybody was tagging in and out so quickly. Like, people weren't staying in the ring long enough for you to miss them when they get tagged out. And I just, something about it was just like, whoa, y'all making me dizzy. Y'all keep tagging in and out. This is wild. Other than that, I thought it was a great match. Was it random? I don't want to say random. But I don't know. It just felt like this is a Collision thing, right? Not a Dynamite thing. That's what it felt like more to me. Kind of felt like a little bit what we seen the other day on Collision. And to be honest, if Kyle O'Reilly and Mark Briscoe would have been here tonight, it would have literally felt like exactly what we got on Saturday on Collision. But it is what it is. Orange Cassidy, obviously, y'all already know how it is. He ends up giving Rouge the orange punch, and then they end up giving him a Shattered Machine for the win. I'm bored. After this, we have our stepdaddy Christian with the patriarchy back there, and Mama Wayne is holding the trios title. Luchasaurus is looking like a snack with no titles on him. That is so whack, Christian. We gotta change that. Christian is basically saying, hey, look, I know you little pussy ass teams, House of Black and Bang Bang Gang, y'all fighting for our titles. How about on Collision, the two of y'all teams go together in the ring. Whoever wins will get an opportunity at All In to go for the trios titles. But Christian will be the special guest referee. And I was just like, look at God. That right there is just going to make a world of a difference. And for real, I really do believe Christian don't give a fuck about either one of those teams. If I was Christian, I would probably let the Bang Bang Gang win, because it seems like they are less likely to win. And House of Black, they look hungry. They look like they're ready to get them trio titles. I mean, no shade to Bang Bang Gang, but they've already beat them. So I probably would make sure that they took the win over House of Black. But we'll see what happens with that. After this, CEO comes out with Camille. Camille already has her 2 little dinner meals in the ring. She's in a 2-on-1 match with 2 girls that they picked up from God knows where. And was this a squash? I'm going to say yes. The girls got a chance to do a little something to Camille, but Camille ends up beating them up anyway. Now, I'm underwhelmed because I know she's talented. And I know a lot of people look at her and just say, well, what can she do if they don't put her in a squash match? And I get it. And it's just like, when we look at historically what they do with powerhouses like, Camille or Powerhouse Hobbs or Wardlow or Luchasaurus, they put these guys and girls in situations where like they're the big guys. They should be doing squash matches, damn near only squash matches. And that's what it seems like we're going to get with Camille. And it's like, if that's the case, we're already bored if you're just going to be putting her in that situation all the time. There are some people within AEW or in the indies where you can put with her to make her still look strong and let the people know what it is that she's about in the ring. Squash matches, I don't feel like are effective. If anything, we're only going to remember her for being Mercedes heavy and just winning matches in like 2 minutes without truly seeing what she is like as a wrestler. In my opinion, they added a women's match onto Dynamite, which we'd never really get 2 women's matches, and they're both squashes. I'm not feeling that at all. Now, CEO, she gets on the mic and she's talking about how Britt Baker was suspended by the EVPs and she's thanking them for it. And then out of the blue, Tony Schiavone puts his nose in it, talking about, oh, Christopher Daniel just informed me that Tony Khan just informed him that he overruled the suspension by the Elite. And I'm just like, so Tony Khan can't just say it his damn self? Like, where the hell is Tony Khan that he has to relay messages to Christopher Daniel? I don't know. This is funny. But then Britt Baker, she comes on via satellite. And she's basically saying that, she's not suspended. And then she has 7 days to think about how she's going to whoop CEO's ass next week. So it's interesting. And I like how she ended up saying that if that you can trust her because she's a doctor. And I thought that was cute. But I was just like, I don't know if I would have you as my doctor. I don't know. I'm not sure in terms of All In, if Mercedes will retain the title or not. Something about the storyline that I actually started liking before, but now I feel like we need to amp this up. So if they do end up meeting cross path next week, Dynamite, it really needs to get juicy. Pay-per-view is about 3 weeks away. We need to amp up some of these storylines. Main event, we have Double J versus our American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. Those jackets he's been wearing with dragon scales are just the cutest things ever. I love it. This is an anything goes match. So they started off in the ring. And what was interesting was that Jeff Jarrett came out with Karen, Jay Lethal, and he even pushed his wife and say, get to the back, I got this. And they actually went to the back, but I kept thinking in the back of my mind, we know how it is with Jeff Jarrett and them. Somebody gonna come out and help him, especially in an anything goes match. This is like doing like a Bloodlines rules match and expecting nobody to get involved. That's just not gonna happen. Now, what I did appreciate is then taking the fight through the crowd and then out to the concession stands where everybody's buying their food, using the bathroom and everything. And everyone just surrounds them kind of like in a circle. They're using garbage, throwing trash at each other. And I really did like that. If I was back there and I'm just coming out of the bathroom and I'm seeing them, I would just be like, hold on. Holy shit. I would absolutely love that. So it was a great experience for the fans. They spent a few minutes over there before they ended up bringing it back after picture in picture. And another thing too, I don't know how many pictures they gave tonight. It felt like they gave a little extra than usual. So I thought, oh, main event might be commercial free, maybe? Yeah, right. Not. We did get commercial in the middle of that match. They come back and then they're back in the ring and continue the match. This was actually a really great match from Jeff Jarrett. We know Brian. We know how he does. And obviously, I'm looking at the situation as in we have not seen Jeff Jarrett in a while in the ring, and we haven't seen him do anything major in the ring. So this was very interesting to see how he was going to do against Brian. And real talk, he really showed up and showed out. So I appreciate Double J coming out there. He was even bleeding. I don't know if it was coming from his ear or the back of his head. I'm not sure where that came from, but he really did put in work. And, Brian Danielson, and sometimes in this match, I kind of felt like you can do the heel thing and use weapons and for anything goes match. I thought he would be a little soft in comparison to Jeff Jarrett, who's more of the no, you know what? I was gonna say more of the obvious heel, but the past few weeks, Double J has been an absolute babyface. So I don't know what was up with that. Still really great match. Danielson takes the win with a Busaiku knee, but with a steel chair. The way that happened was, ooh, shit, that was beautiful. I loved it. Absolutely loved the way that ended up happening. He ends up taking the win. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat comes to the ring. Willa Yuta, Karen, Jay Lethal. Who else was over there? I don't know if anybody else came out. I can't remember. But they all come out to the ring. And they end up shaking hands and hugging. I was just like, oh, okay, so no beatdown. Okay, I'll take it. But then Swerve's music hit. Prince Donald come out with a little coffee in his hand. And Swerve comes out. And, I love how Swerve kind of ignores Nana and just like, he's doing his thing. Like, I'm doing my thing, whatever. But this time he actually looks at him just like, what the fuck? And then they keep walking out to the ring. Swerve is absolutely fucking phenomenal. He really is. And every time I hear from him, every time I see his presence, I'm looking at the situation. I'm just like, y'all know I'm a Bryan Danielson girl. I love me some fucking Bryan Danielson. However, Swerve retaining would be absolutely huge for his career. This would be an amazing thing for Swerve if he were to win and Bryan Danielson having to retire. I don't know if it's going to go that way. This is one of those matches, a few matches on this card for All In that I'm really not sure where it's going to go. And, we did have Brian beat Double J, and Swerve was making fun of that and saying, look at how you are gassed and winded just going against Grandpa Jeff. Imagine what's going to happen when you go against me at All In. And he goes, you know what? You had your little warm-up match. I'm going to have one too. I'm going to take on your boy, Willa Yuta. And he throws the microphone on Willa Yuta's chest. And I was just like, holy shit, he means business. I can't wait to see how that goes. This is a big match for Willa Yuta as well. So that's going to happen next week on Dynamite. Looks like we're going to have a great show for Dynamite. But obviously, we got Ring of Honor tomorrow. We got Rampage. Then we have Collision before then. And I'm just hoping to see a little bit more in terms of hyping up the pay-per-view. I don't mean like do this for a go-home show. I mean like we still got a few more weeks to really buy in some of those seats that's left over there in London. And then we still got people who are probably thinking, should I spend this little $50 on this pay-per-view? Like you need to start convincing these people like right now, Tony Khan. We need to amp up some of these storylines to get people ready for All In. This was a good episode of Dynamite. If you missed it and you don't got no DVR or whatever, some of the stuff is on YouTube. There was, after the show, they did put an exclusive beatdown of Hangman beating the fuck up out of Jeff Jarrett after Jeff went to the back. And then also, somehow, somewhere in the middle of that, Tony Storm and Mariah may start fighting. I don't know where that came from. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit random, and I'm just gonna take it for what it is. If that's what's gonna take to help hype people more for the pay-per-view, then let's do it, Tony Khan. Still got a few more weeks. If you want to convince people to buy, you already got my money, Tony Khan. You don't have to worry about me, but other people, maybe. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back tomorrow with Ring of Honor.